right, in this section, we're going to be going over building out a data integration pipeline. What we want to do initially is navigate to our data integration dropdown and then select New Pipeline. We want to name our process, select our cloud bucket, move on to our source type. We can choose either between database or file system. File system is going to be either a local file system or file that we have on our computer, or it could be something like Hadoop, Hive, file systems of that nature. For this example, we're going to use database, and then move on to selecting our source system. After we select our source system, we choose our database along with our source schema. We can either navigate through the dropdown, or we can type in text to highlight the various schemas that we would have. Then we move on to selecting our source tables. We have a few different options here. We can select all, or we can select our source tables as one-offs. In this case, I'm going to be selecting 2 different tables and then moving on to input my target information. Target type is going to be similar to what we just viewed under source information, either database or file system. In this case, we're going to do file system. We're going to move it to my SQL connection. Select our database just as before. And here is where we have a little bit more information that we can decide to input. We can either create brand new tables, or we can map our source tables to our target or destination tables if applicable. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and create new target tables and then select my ingestion type. I have the ability to select either full refresh, incremental, or master SCD. Slightly changing dimensions. For the first one, we're going to do full refresh. For the second, we're going to do incremental. And then move on to selecting our CDC columns. Then SCD, we can choose between either type 1 or type 2. And then select our SCD columns. Before we finish the job, we're going to get to a review screen that allows us to see what exactly we input and selected to ensure that we didn't make any mistakes. Everything looks good here, so we can move on to create the job, get a notification that it was either successful or that it may have failed. Upon success, we know that the connections that we had built out during implementation work correctly. In the event that we had a failed notification, more than likely a connection that we're using has incorrect credentials, or we're pointing the connection in the wrong direction. Under the View Pipeline section here, we have the ability to run the job instantly after creation, or we can go back and edit, deactivate, or delete. But in this case, everything looks good, so we can move on to the scheduling portion, which we'll tackle in one of the following videos.